more things.
This day that we've had today, thank you that as we come out of Holy Week, that we can gather together, that we can join in and making the best decisions for our community. We ask you to be with us tonight as we go through our legislation, and just be with us as we depart from here later on. In Jesus' name, amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
McMurray.
Here.
Taylor. Here. Clyburn.
Here.
Newton.
Here.
Lucy.
Here.
Look over the minutes of the April 7th work session meeting.
And has everyone already had a chance to see them? Then I will move to accept the minutes of the April 7th work session meeting.
Taylor.
Yes.
Clyburn.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Lucy.
Yes.
McMurray.
Yes. And committee reports. I believe there was a Parks and Properties meeting on the 26th about the Greenfield Cemetery that was not reported on last meeting. Do we have a report on that? There was a report on the meeting on the Felson's Park project.
We had a meeting today. Is that the one you're referring to?
According to Sherry Parker's report, she attended the March 26th Parks and Properties meeting to discuss the Greenfield Cemetery.
I think it was in lieu of hiring the people and stuff and all the equipment.
Yeah, we haven't discussed that. But now we have one today in regards to the park and the construction that was going on. And different things, I mean, that Mr. Silcott had recommended that we could cut out, save costs on some different things in different areas, but, yeah. That was all we have for today.
So are you saying you did not have a meeting on March 26th?
She might have had an internet meeting or something with it, where there's so many parts to this park that I don't know. I wasn't there, is what I'm saying. They have Zoom meetings.
This is not
on
about the
Wednesday.
Felson's Park project.
The graveyard.
This is the
I
cemetery.
don't remember.
Cemetery. Okay, and I know last week we got into a pretty heavy detail in reference to, or we can refer back to the minutes. And if Ms. Parker didn't get them right, that's on her, I guess. But I know we spoke specifically about how we was gonna do a breakdown. Mr. Lewis went and got his information
On the equipment.
on the equipment, plus the hourly people and stuff, and how we was gonna go about it. I can't remember anything else that we was supposed to discuss. I mean, because I still got Gary's minutes or notes here that he gave me on his breakdown, and I still have my notes that I presented on the breakdown on the people, how much the plots were going to be, the pros and the cons over having employees.
I'm sorry, Carlos. You reported that in the meeting, in the work session meeting on the 7th?
I don't remember now, Miss Mary Ellen. I really don't.
I don't
I thought it
remember
was
hearing
in,
that.
no. No.
So you said you had the figures. Can you report that now?
Oh, you want me to use Gary's? I mean, mine and Gary's was off by a
Whatever
little bit.
you guys discussed in the meeting on March 26th.
Well, it was the breakdown on one caretaker or laborer and 2 seasonal laborers. And then we went on the prices of that. The caretaker was at $26 an hour. Okay. It was 1,560 hours at 75% health insurance. He's at 45,993 a year. That's for your caretaker. Your one laborer was at $17 an hour, 1,560 hours a year. He was at 28 is what I'm reading. Second, two seasonal laborers at $17 an hour, total of 2,080 hours. They was at 39,000.
39,000.
So is this not in the finance meeting, these numbers?
Well, I mean, we was just going to do a breakdown on everything, and then I did a breakdown on all the equipment and what it was going to take. And then the other thing I did was what we did on the grave sites. So I am totally lost on.
So what did you do on the grave sites? Because I have not heard any figures on that yet.
We haven't come up with a concrete one yet.
Well, we came up with what the other people were doing and where we thought we would go. We also added something in to where if there was a child that was deceased.
So you guys are this is still
We're
in process?
Still in process with
Okay.
that part, yeah.
Well, now we really gonna have follow-up.
Are you guys announcing these meetings? Yes. You have them? Okay.
Thank you. Were there any other committees since April 7th? Any other committee meetings? Okay, we have the village officials' reports. Mr. Silcott could not be here this evening. We do have his report. I guess I can go ahead and read through that. He has got quotes on demolition of 133 and 137 Washington Street. Cost comparison is to demo both is $110,000. Demo only 137 South Washington is $175,000. 137 Washington Street repair wall, roof, and remove chimney is $90,000. And then he has council needs to decide how you want to proceed, getting quotes or structural inspection. We did discuss this at the last meeting. I'm trying to. I believe we had requested that we do get quotes on that structural inspection. Is that correct? Is that how you guys are
That's
remembering
correct.
that?
Yes.
So maybe that or should be on, getting quotes on
I think
structural
we're-
inspection.
I think we're dragging our feet on the dog. We should quit beating and kicking. We have already said that we wanted to demo it, and it keeps coming back in. Now we need this, we need this. The guy that gave you your quote, I believe, is your structural engineer, isn't he?
We had, I think it was Doug Carnes that gave us that, I believe, was the one who gave the estimate.
And I
It was
think that
either
we
that or
also
it was,
needed,
Evans, possibly, who did that. I don't recall which one it was, but one of those two. I know Gary met with him, he would know if he was here, but it was either Evans or Doug Carnes, one that gave the quote.
And why are we?
Most likely it would have been Evans.
Right.
I know Carnes looked at it, we walked through that with Doug before, but, you know, he didn't do any quotes on that, so I think Evans was the one who gave the quote on that.
and I believe that the $175,000 to demo 137 South Washington did not include any possible repairs to the wall in between, and that was what we were getting the quotes on.
We did meet with Tony. Tony went through it. His recommendation is to fix the wall, leave the building, because once you start taking it down, there is no exterior wall between the two buildings. They said it's going to cost you more and it's not safe. He cannot say how many buildings would not go down. He is also the cheapest by $20,000 is to save the building, and I do have a gentleman who might be interested in the purchase of the building and putting a business down there. so it's $20,000 more. It's very risky to take it down, any of those walls, because they don't have firewalls, they don't have anything, so you can't tell.
So we have to take them both down.
There's a possibility if
Then
you
it
start
might
that.
still
And
be
the
a domino.
$110,000 did not,
After
Wait a
Pat's
minute.
building, no, I'm just asking a question. After Pat's building, if we would take Pat's building all the way down towards, so then it's done.
no.
We don't know.
No, he thinks there has to be a wall there, and the price for $110,000 does not include the purchase of Pat's building.
Correct.
So it's more than
Yeah.
$20,000 more,
Or, how much have we spent?
120, I think.
Oh, no. How much?
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
120? I thought it was like 160 or something with
No.
the shoring and
I
stuff.
think it is that.
Okay,
Last
well, I'm
meeting.
gonna tell you,
Who's interested in this building now?
I don't know that I want to give his name. He's got a building, he's.
Okay,
living-
see, here's the thing, Mr. Clive. We've already voted to bring them down. The only thing that, you once told me that CIC was one, that Main Street was one, that, I spoke to both of these entities. They have no interest in this building, never have had interest in this building. And, because I was trying to think of a way to get this to Main Street, because they do such a phenomenal job for us, and I was like, there's gotta be, and I even discussed that progression bond with you. But then after that, I find out those two people have never been interested in those buildings.
Okay, I don't believe at Main Street, because Main Street told me they definitely were interested in the building. This is a private buyer. We could put it for sale with the CIC and sell it.
They don't want it.
That's not what they told me. And it's still,
Told me
it's still
Thursday.
$20,000 cheaper to do it.
It needs to come down.
I'll also want to advise something. I did a total walkthrough through Pat's building. And where Pat's building is separated from his basement subflooring all the way up, there's a 3/4 inch concrete running crack. And that's a stress crack that is caused from the stress of the other building putting stress on Pat's side. So you're gonna have, and I'm only guesstimating on this, I'll go low and high, 25 to 60,000 to fix Pat's building, if you decide to leave Pat's and just tear one down.
And that's on top of the 175,000 to demo, 137.
No, that was figure that was never mentioned. We were spending an hour and a half with Tony down there. He thought that crack was easy to fix. That is not a statement. You gave an estimate of $40,000 to put a roof on, which is a ridiculous
So
figure.
you cannot put a roof or structural trusses on that roof like you told me over there for $12,000.
No, you can't. It's 20, I talked to Gary, the bids that they got from the contractors are still valid. That's to put the structures in, the trusses in, and a roof on, Carlos.
For how much, Phil?
24.
You're
Okay,
gonna-
you
you're
said
gonna have to
48
show
for a
me that.
roof.
You'll have to show me
Well,
that, sir.
Gary says he's got it, and he's got it.
Gary,
He
do you
showed-
have them?
Not got Gary.
The other
The other
Gary.
Gary.
Oh, well, then, bar none, we still have voted to tear this thing down, okay? And if you say you got someone that wants to buy it, here's the only way I'd ever even entertain that. They're gonna come in here with a full financial saying, this is what we can do, buy it right here, right now, and this is the finances we have to refurbish the whole thing.
If we sell it, we still have to fix Pat's building.
Yeah, and there's the other part,
Regardless.
so if you sell it, Pat's building's gonna have to come into
We're still gonna have to pay
verification.
for that.
Even if, with the estimate you gave, which is a false estimate, it's still cheaper to fix the wall than to do Pat's building. So you would have spent more money.
No,
to tear
it's
something
110.
down.
I wanna quit spending money.
Okay, then
That's the
fix the
problem.
wall.
I wanna be straight. You said
It's
we had two.
110 plus-
You said we had two buyers. Those buyers never existed.
That's not true.
Why would they tell me this, Mr. Clark?
I don't know,
They told me that
Corey.
you're pushing the issue. They don't want the building.
I don't know, Corey.
What is your fixation with this building? It's 110 grand. We're done. Tear it down.
And you're not done.
Plus the
Whatever we're gonna have to
100,000.
pay for Pat, we're
Well,
gonna
here's
have to
something
pay
you
for
need to
it
understand
regardless.
that maybe I can help you. If you just tear down the building that we've agreed to tear down, you're gonna have to put a subwall up against Pat's to save Pat's.
Yes.
But you're gonna have to put a subwall up to save the other side if you don't tear it down, which is another 60 or
No, it's
80,000.
160, Carlos.
160, okay,
Total.
plus you're at 120 in.
You're at 120 in anyway.
You're right, but you can't dismiss it as yours and then add it to ours if we wanna say go
You
away
can't
with it.
dismiss it as ours and say it's just ours. That was something we did.
It's a building that, never mind.
Okay,
If
so-
we already voted on this, why are we still having the
Because
conversation?
it was brought
Because
up.
we didn't have all the information
Information.
when we did that.
Okay, so let's just go down. Each of us have 2 minutes to say what we want to say about this, and then we'll move on. Carlos?
You don't start on my end, please.
Yes, I'm starting on your end.
I'll pass for now.
Okay, here's the
Corey?
gist of it. I believe we've spent way too much money on it. We've kicked this so-called can down the street for 3 years, maybe longer. The 2 buyers that I've been told were interested are not interested. They've never been interested. Everything we're doing is killing time. Are we still paying for shoring?
No,
No.
That's just because he felt bad for us and give it to us. So with what we could do, tearing this building down here, we could give, heck, we could have the nicest pickleball courts for these ladies up in the middle of town under lights for them. Parking, we can have the, what is that, farmer's market.
Farmers market.
You could have when Main Street does these great little concerts and stuff down here, they
Have
could
a
use it for
platform
that.
back there.
And then plus your businesses downtown would have more parking because we own the property behind it. And I'd say that would be turned into something, we could turn that into something very nice with minimal cost once it's down. And have a great space for the folks of this town versus that. And on a prayer that somebody's gonna come in and turn it into what? It's Washington Street, there's nothing down through there. I mean, somebody really gonna come in here and invest $400,000 in that building to put a snack shop in it, it's not gonna happen. We're just fooling ourselves. I think we should, and this is just, my 2 minutes are about up. I think it's time to, what we need to be working on is what we're gonna give Mr. Hayes for his building. Next.
Okay. In my opinion, it's a money pit no matter which way we go. It's a money pit if we tear it down, it's a money pit if we keep it. So what we need to ask ourselves is, what do we want Greenfield to look like? Do we want it to be the historical village that it is, or do we want it to have a parking lot in the middle of Greenfield?
I didn't say a parking lot.
I personally love the history of this town. I want to keep the history. I want to keep the charm of Greenfield that has always been here, that I grew up in, that I love. That's what I want to do. I would rather spend the money to keep the building, to fix it, to make it structurally sound. And then, yes, I would hope that we could get some kind of a developer in here that would look at that building and see the potential of it and see the historical value here in Greenfield and would be able to make that into something that people want to come and see. Yes, it's on Washington Street. Why should Washington Street not be just as important as Jefferson Street?
Well, I meant Jefferson is our downtown. By tearing that
This is my
down on
time.
Washington Street.
This is my
turn
time.
to time.
When you're asking me a question, I was
I
gonna
was
answer
not
it.
asking you a question. I was stating my opinion. So, in my opinion, I think that we should keep the building. We should repair the wall, repair the chimney, repair the roof. And then if the CIC can find a buyer for it, then that's the route we should go.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. I agree totally. I was going to use the same verbiage, money pit. It has been a money pit. I was against buying it in the first place. I never wanted the Elliott. I never wanted any of that. But we have it now, and it's in our lap. We have no other choice. It has been very costly. With that being said, I want to do whatever is the most reasonable for this village to spend more money to get things taken care of. Right now, we don't know if we start demoing these buildings, are we going to be right back in the same situation with the next building? We just keep having a domino because of the walls being connected, and it just keeps going. With that being said, and with us knowing that now, originally, yeah, I thought so too. Let's demo, let's get it down, let's just be done. Because we were bleeding money. We were paying $2,500 a month just to keep it structurally sound. Now that we don't have that cost, we can sit back and think a little bit more about what we want to do. So with that being said, and with us knowing how this has been going along, if we can reasonably fix this and get it structurally sound again, and get the wall between our building and Pat Hayes's building sound again, then by all means, let's do it and be done. And then at that point, there is no more cost involved. We're not going to be looking at another cracked wall, another building that's ready to come down, another, and it's not going to just keep going, and we're not going to have to buy somebody else's building because of what we did caused their building to now suddenly be unstable, because that's what it keeps happening. So if we make it secure, then we don't have that.
Okay. When we've had people come in here and look at Greenfield, they always talk it's a block and a block and a block and a block, the downtown. Why were they going to come here if all we have are parking lots? You have to have buildings and businesses to attract people. This is a building that will attract businesses for the future town. The ceiling in that is a metal ceiling that's almost 100% intact. It would be beautiful if it was painted. The other thing is that the gentleman that came with us, Carlos, praises this gentleman, calls him T. His name is Tony. Tony sent us an email that said, fix this wall, maintain the building, it's the cheapest and it's the safest, because when he was down there, he was concerned if you tear down part of it or if you tear down all of it, you're opening up a box of worms that nobody can tell you what you can do. It is also $20,000 cheaper than tearing it all down and taking a chance. It makes no sense to me that we don't save the $20,000, and we don't take the chances of other buildings coming down, and we protect our downtown. I don't remember Carlos screaming and hollering when we fixed the building next to him and bought the building. And I think that was a good thing to fix, that was a good thing to save the downtown. This is too. And so I think that this is reasonable. It's cheaper, it's better, it provides jobs, provides places to live in the future, somebody to invest downtown. They're not going to invest in an open field. And for pickleball, we're going to have 2 pickleball courts down at the park. I don't know that women are going to want to come up here and play pickleball in the middle of town, or anybody else does.
But it's be set that building in. If we fix it, what's it going to still sit here?
Still feels
What do we do? Still feels stuff.
Okay. It's historic downtown. It is, it is part of our history, part of our future. It can provide jobs and living spaces. That's it. It is also less expensive. And Carlos, you did get the email, what Tony sent, didn't you?
No, to be truthful, I didn't.
Well, he told me he sent you one too.
I'm sure he did then.
Okay, Carlos, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, right now, at the building, we're at 120,000. Demo for that building is 110. So you're at 230. Add
No.
6,
No,
I'm gonna just correct you, it's 175 to just under that one building.
It's 110 to do them of both.
oh, 110, okay, well, thank you. So, $295 plus 60,000. If we're going to do the 175 to demo the building, you're still going to have to do some sort of shoring on the end wall after Pat's building's gone and everything else. So you don't have the domino effect, okay? And let's just say, since Tony's already thrown the 60,000 fee in there to re-shore up another wall, we'll go there. So you're at what? 295, 350, rough. Right now, you're at 300K for 175 of both buildings, and Pat's building for 100,000 if that's what he takes for it, and the 65,000 again back to re-shore up the next wall for the building over. So your $20,000 is a moot point, considering the village has already chewed enough money, in my opinion. And in retrospect to whether CIC would do it, or I was some fighting for anything over here on this building, y'all didn't even own the building and you were still writing the checks for it. So it's a moot point to me on where your 20,000 is going to go, whether this village writes it or he writes it or Gary writes it or she writes it. Okay? We own this one. You didn't own that one. So the 20,000, I do not feel safe in saying that whatever we decide, if you keep that building, someone's going to be able to come in there and spend the money that's going to need to refurbish that building. Go ahead.
Thank you.
So we accept the motion on the building now, or you want to do it later?
We can't do any motions until new or old business,
Okay, sounds good.
so we've all had our say. I'm going to continue with Mr. Silcott's report. He's working on possible purchase of land at the industrial park. Followed up on this request. Held a staff meeting with supervisors. The Felsen Park progress meetings are being held. Did a walkthrough with CMR and OHM on 4/16. Felsen Park CMR agreement was signed. Mediation with Majors Enterprises was held 3/13. No settlement, but seemed to have worked out. Progress meeting for Phase 1 sanitary sewer project is 18% complete. Met with BWC on pending OSHA violations, working on the response on that. Met with Ohio Rail Development Commissioner on possible takeover of the railroad. And met with Fairfield Homes on flooding issues at Sycamore Glen. And
Doesn't do Sycamore Glen anymore. Community Action does.
They're in together. They're the ones that sent the bill. They're together.
I did go through the walkthrough and the campgrounds over at the quarry are unbelievable. It's going to be absolutely beautiful, gorgeous thing. The only question, and this is brought up by somebody, the shelter houses, because of the flooding, are only 600 square feet. So it's difficult to have meeting, it'd be difficult if the fire department wanted to have a fundraiser, or if somebody wanted to have a fundraiser, or if you want to see classes in them. There is a possibility that one of the shelter houses could be enlarged, maybe, and I don't know how council feels about that, to have meetings down there, to have events down there in a larger shelter house. To me, I think that would be a wonderful thing for the park, but, I don't know how.
Instead of so many smaller ones,
Yes.
make one
Yeah,
bigger one, and
they
then maybe.
They probably have to maybe eliminate one and then make the other one big
Bigger.
enough to have, like, if you want to have art classes, or if you want to have a euchre tournament, or if you want to have, whatever you want to have down there.
would that be in the park or in the quarry?
It would be in the park,
In the park.
okay. So I think that's a good idea, but it's, the campgrounds in the quarry are going to be ungodly.
How many shelter houses were we going to be doing right now?
There's nothing set. We came in today and it's so far over budget. There's some stuff that's gonna have to be cut out, so you'll have to wait on Gary's report on that.
Okay.
Okay, Lindsay, you have a report for us for HR?
Sure. So my report's kind of short and sweet. Wasn't able to connect with Kyger and Kyger. Their names. Okay. So I did get another phone number today, so I'll continue to reach out and see if maybe I had a bad phone number. I'm kind of thinking that's what occurred. Overall, though, everything employee relation-wise has settled down. For the police department, chief had, we did promotional testing for lieutenant and sergeant, and then he's gonna hold another in the fall. So, making a lot of progress there as well. Employee relations has been fantastic in that sense. I think things have kind of slowed down a little bit, and we're definitely listening and making improvements with feedback that we're getting, so.
Great. Does anybody have questions for Lindsay? All right, so we'll move on to communications. Brenda, would you like to read the Citizen of the Month? I gave you that right there.
Okay, our Citizen of the Month is Tiny Town Child Care Learning Center, and they have been named our Citizen of the Month for its dedication to early childhood education and the community. Tiny Town values family involvement and regularly hosts events that bring parents, children, and staff together. They currently have 42 children enrolled at our center and provide a safe learning environment for children ages 6 weeks to 11 years of age. And we do have a couple people here from Tiny Town, so we'd like you to come up. Come on up, we've got a applause for you. Get a picture. Right here in the center. We did just change our name to Enrich. Is it Tiny Town Enrichment Center? Yes. Okay, well, cool. I'm going to stand right here. They're going to take a picture. Yes. All right. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. This is a wonderful thing in our
Big asset
community.
to the
A
community.
huge asset. Huge asset.
Offer publicly funded and state
Awesome. All right. You want me to do
And
that?
employee of the month.
Okay. Patrolman Corey Ross is our employee of the month. He has shown strong teamwork and support for his coworkers. He is frequently volunteering for additional shifts. He is in SWAT training. He has a positive attitude and great work ethic. He is approachable and has a willingness to help others and has fostered a more cohesive and motivated team environment. So, Patrolman Ross.
Congratulations, do wherever you are.
Right? Good going, Corey.
Appreciate the hard work.
Okay. So Brenda, if you want to start with the reading of ordinances and resolutions.
We got a bunch.
We got a bunch of them.
Tonight, we have first reading of ordinance number 9, 2025, an ordinance authorizing the acquisition of a backhoe loader for use in the street, water and sewer departments through the State of Ohio Department of Administrative Services State Purchasing Program, Sourcewell, and declaring an emergency. I'll move to receive.
So Mr. Booton, who seconded? Clyburn,
Yes.
Booton. Yes. Losi,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
So this is for a backhoe loader. And the purchase price is $143,449.96. Gary, do you have anything you want to add to that, or did we get quotes from different locations, or just the?
Well, this is a Sourcewell bidder, so that's, pretty much that's what your price is going to be because it's state.
Okay,
So that's, 143 here or there, so that's the price. I believe you have all the specifications and everything with your packets.
This is what she handed to us later.
Are these deferred payments on any of this stuff, or what is this, are we paying, is this deferred payments, are they put out for a year on this equipment?
Yeah, most likely, depending on which way we finance, it would most likely be in arrears.
Yeah, okay.
By 1 year. Whether I don't know if I'll go through the bank or not, but if I go through the rent to purchase provisions, they're all going to be in arrears by a year.
Okay.
so it would be middle of next year before we have to start making payments?
Correct.
Well, so I'm seeing we have a trade-in allowance of 7,000 also, though. Are we trading in our old one?
That's right.
So that would bring the cost down to 136,000.
I think they looked at there's trade-in on, I think, on the documentation that I gave you, but that's a little light as far as trade-in, so I don't think that they want to do that. They would prefer to keep the old
So we're
one.
voting on the 143, not the
Yeah,
136.
Why would they want to keep it? It's too old to work and maintain. Why are we keeping it for?
Same reason I keep a junker, in case
Backup.
the other one needs work
Scrap
on it, I
parts,
still have it
anything.
available.
Hydros.
I mean, it could be used for various things, but, when you're talking about $7,000, it's not very much for, that piece of equipment, so,
Could we sell it for more?
I'm sorry.
Could we sell it for more?
It's possible, I mean, trade-in value is always lower than what you could possibly list it for.
Right, that's why I'm asking. I mean, they've got an extended warrant, they're paying an extra over $6,000 for extended warranties, so I wouldn't think that they would need the other old one for too much. So I would,
Even if it's under warranty, it'll have to go to the shop, they'll leave us one unless they have a rental in it, which I doubt.
Well, the
I've never
old
seen
one,
the
the old one's
contract.
runnable, it's just like hour at a time before it overheats, because they know if it overheats, they're gonna blow the engine, so they're babying it truthfully. I do believe that you could get more money out of it if you sold it, but secondary, there's also the parts, Miss Brenda, all the hydraulics and stuff on it and everything. I won't say they're interchangeable to everything, but there's uses for them.
That would.
Is the old one
proceed to
repairable?
$7,000.
Yeah, which would far exceed 7,000 if we was using.
Is the old one repairable?
I think some things are on the degree, but to get it running fully functional, I don't believe so. No, I understand that.
Is the old one broke? Is it still working? They still use it, don't they?
If we just sit for about an hour, and
It only uses, they can only use operations on it for about an hour, and they say it overheats. And, I mean, to me, that's telling me you got a head gasket or something going bad, but I'm not that good on that. I know it's not functional enough to maintain an 8-hour shift, so there's the answer to that.
All right, well,
Are we buying this thing or what?
I'll make the motion to purchase it.
Somebody needs to suspend the rules.
Motion to suspend the rules, sorry.
so I kept waiting.
We're just skipping over.
I'll second.
Uchen,
Yes.
Losi,
Yes.
McMurray,
No.
Taylor,
Yes.
Clyburn.
No, I think we ought to just hold the thing out, see what happens.
No.
No. It's a large purchase.
Is there not enough votes to suspend the rules?
Correct.
How many do we need? 4?
Yeah. So there'll be a second reading next meeting. Okay, Brenda, next.
Okay. Then we have first reading of ordinance number 10, 2025, an ordinance authorizing the acquisition of a street sweeper for use in the street department and declaring an emergency.
I'll move to suspend the rules.
Receive first.
Now you've got to
We have to
receive.
receive
You've got to
first.
Receive, I'm sorry.
I'll second.
Was that Mr. Taylor who?
Yes.
You messed it up.
Losi,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Clyburn,
Yes.
Wooten,
Yes.
So this is for a street sweeper for the street department, $24,300. Is this, again, the same price anywhere you would go, or did you get more than one quote? For the street
I
sweeper.
believe this is a Sourcewell piece of equipment as well, so.
I can't hear you.
It's a Sourcewell piece of equipment, so it would be the same price, wherever you got it.
Which means like fleet pricing.
But let me correct that. This particular one comes from, the quote was from Alabama. So this would not be Sourcewell. And this is what I was given, so.
Okay.
I know he looked at other pieces of equipment, but
And this is the one that he
price-wise, I'm
decided
not
on.
sure.
Now,
Who's he?
Mr. Oyer.
Danny?
assume.
Yeah,
Mr. Matthews?
Chief Oyer.
What will they pull this sweeper with?
Sorry.
The ATV downstairs. Or they can use the police truck or one of the cruisers if it has a trailer hitch,
Yeah,
the way I'm
it's a
reading
pull
it.
behind.
Yeah, it's towable by just about any equipment that has a hitch to it.
Pretty neat.
It's like a little piece of equipment.
I'm reading it.
And anybody on the street department is qualified to use this?
Yeah, it's fairly simple as far as operating is concerned.
There's no like special, any
No.
kind of license or anything? for
No.
it?
I think if they're using that ATV, isn't Chief the only one that can use that ATV due to insurance, is what I was told?
That question I can't answer, I don't know.
Well, if not, you could also use the truck with it too, so. Anything that's got a trailer hitch, the way I'm reading this. Heck, you could get a golf cart on it. So,
And at the price of $24,300, would this be financed or just paid for?
I'm sorry?
Would there be financing for this also? And that would be due mid next year as well?
Yeah.
Is there a motion to suspend the rules?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
McMurray,
No.
Taylor,
Yes.
Clyburn,
I would abstain.
Can I ask why?
I don't want to vote on it.
Well,
No, you can't ask why, Carlos.
under Robert's rules, I can't ask why.
Well, no.
So you are denying the right to tell me why you're abstaining your vote? Just say yes or no, that's all I'm
Yes, I
asking.
am.
That's all I needed, thank you, sir.
Wooten,
Yes?
Losey,
Yes.
We do not have enough votes to suspend the rules, so we'll have a second reading at the next meeting. We go on to the next.
Okay. Now we have first reading of ordinance number 11, 2025, an ordinance authorizing the acquisition of a stump grinder for use in the street department through the State of Ohio Department of Administrative Services State Purchasing Program, Sourcewell, and declaring an emergency.
Make a motion to suspend?
Receive.
To
Receive,
receive.
sorry. Blah.
Second.
Receive.
Taylor,
Yes.
Clyburn,
Yes.
Uton,
Yes.
Losi,
Yes.
McMurray.
Yes. Okay, so this is for a stump grinder for the street department. This is a cost of $28,183.
This is through Sourcewell too, isn't it, Gary?
Correct.
Well,
Okay.
it says that, but on here, this says Vermeer Company. Vermeer.com. It doesn't say Sourcewell on this one that I have.
Is it Sourcewell, Gary, or?
I mean, in the ordinance, it says it's Sourcewell, but this doesn't say Sourcewell.
No, Sourcewell is a state purchasing program.
Right. Well, the other one said Sourcewell, but this one didn't, and that's why I was confused.
Vermeer's the make.
Yeah, it says Sourcewell.
It's on the last page here.
Well, that's, yeah, somebody wrote it in their notes, but I mean, I just didn't see anywhere on there, but the other one did say it, so that's why I was confused.
Yeah, I was out to the park, and I think there's definitely a need for this. I think something we can use, and we need to have it right now. I also think, and I've talked to a couple of council people, and I'd like for council to consider this. Gary Seelkopf was talking about insurance if you have like a huge water bill, if you have a leak one time, and it's volunteer. I don't want anybody to say, no, it's $25. I'm talking to Ron Coffey. Ron Coffey with the trees wants to divide the community into 5 districts and rotate. And if we took that $25 and gave it to the tree commission, in the future they would have a use for the stump grinder, because they're talking about taking down street trees. There's trees out the cemetery, trees at the park. So I think this would be a good investment, especially if we went ahead and said, okay, we're going to offer this insurance. It's voluntarily, I want that again, for $25. If you have a major leak, you get covered. And Gary's got the ordinances and that type of thing. And I think this would be a good buy for our park system and for the community, and especially if we went ahead and gave the money to the street commission to either tree commission, I'm sorry, to either take trees down, grind them up. If you wanted a tree, volunteer to plant a tree, and then to maintain those trees, to trim those trees, because it's hard to get somebody to know what they're doing. I think this would be 2 for 1 for the community, and I think this is a good idea for those reasons. Sorry.
Sounds
So do we
good.
need a motion to suspend the rules?
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Clyburn,
Yes.
Uton,
Yes.
Losi,
Yes.
McMurray,
No.
Taylor.
Yes.
Move to adopt,
I'll second.
or I'll second, whatever.
No, you moved. You're fine. We are falling apart here.
Uton,
Yes.
Losi,
Yes.
McMurray,
No.
Taylor,
Yes.
Clyburn.
Yes.
All right, then we have first reading of ordinance number 12, 2025, an ordinance authorizing the acquisition of a utility tractor for use in the street, water, and sewer departments through the State of Ohio Department of Administrative Services State Purchasing Program, Sourcewell, and declaring an emergency. Now, this is the
Move to receive.
Second.
How much was this one?
62.9.
Losi,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Clyburn,
Yes.
Uton.
Yes.
Okay, so this is for a utility tractor for use in street, water, and sewer, and the price is $62,964.
And what is,
And I don't have pictures of that one.
I've got this.
Oh, is it?
What is this actually gonna be used for? You have that?
By the way, it's set up probably to dig graves, I would imagine.
Open and close.
Open and close.
That had stones.
I mean, I mean, we use it for everything, you know, when it comes to street and sewage and it's a tractor.
Basically, it's a small version of the big one we're
Yeah.
voting on. It could be used for the graveyard, it could be used for close quarters on the sidewalks and stuff like that without putting the big one on the sidewalks, busting up your curbs, your sidewalks, your landscape,
Load salt,
loading us
I
all.
think this also comes with a finish mower,
finish mowing.
so it would be used, especially on our parks, since we're expanding and what have you, it would be used in the parks as well.
So what we have now is,
But we're using zero turns now.
I mean, do we have one of these tractors right now?
No,
We don't have it at all.
Don't we have a Kubota like this,
don't believe we do, no.
The old one?
the old one?
I don't think we do. I don't think they've had one like this for years.
We do have a backhoe in the cemetery though, right? We have one to dig graves with right now.
Yeah, that's the one that we've been talking
That's the one that
about.
overheats every half hour.
Oh,
It's the same
But they
one.
want to trade it for
Oh,
something else.
so we need to buy two backhoes to replace the one?
One's large, the bigger backhoe that earlier one can go anything from, loading snow and everything else, digging out your snowed areas, and it can go to the graveyard. It's just a bigger version. Like I said, you got a small version and a big version. The big version's gonna be used for heavier duty stuff than the smaller version would be used for.
And then they still want to keep the old one too, so we would have three.
The old one, yeah, that's a separate issue to me. I would keep it, just like I said, or Gary said, the reason why you have a piece of junk laying around, you never know what you're gonna need a piece of. Parts, hoses, hydraulic hoses are $17 a foot now, so fittings are $21, so you can take one off an old one, a hose is a hose.
Do we have enough storage area for all these?
Yes. Supposedly down at, the old water treatment plant. At least that's where they was keeping everything that I looked at, inside.
Okay.
They just paid $4,400 for pads for the backhoe. Is it for this one or for the big one?
I can't answer.
I'm sorry, what was that?
They just paid $4,400 for pads for the big, was that for the big backhoe or the little backhoe?
Stabilizer pads?
I guess so they wouldn't mark up the streets. I don't know. And the cemetery.
I didn't hear nothing about it.
First I've heard about it.
And again, this would be financed to be paid beginning of middle next year?
Yeah,
Are you talking about the pads when they was removing those trees?
No, these are pads where the legs come down.
Stabilizer pads.
Yeah, yeah.
so when you're talking about
Well, it's high,
pads,
and what did we order it for?
no, when you're talking about pads, you're talking about pads especially when your ground is soft.
Yeah.
In a cemetery. It's not just on the legs, it's for the tractor to drive
That's what I
on.
thought. Yeah, that's what we
So it
bought
doesn't
those
crush
for,
the
right?
sod.
Travel pads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Well, he was saying pad, I thought he was
I thought
talking
he
about
was-
the arms. That's what threw me off. I was like,
No,
what, that's
you're talking about the mats.
Yeah, mats.
mats.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes,
Now I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
I won't look into that after.
I was kind of under the impression it was $5,000 for equipment. Well, there's $4,400 for these travel things. That leaves you $600 for equipment at the cemetery.
I'm lost.
When you were talking about going to mowing with the cemetery,
Right.
you asked how much equipment would you have to buy, and you said $5,000. Remember?
Yeah, I
We
said
did.
something like that, to
Yeah.
upgrade some of our equipment, yeah.
Well, these are $4,400.
So what else have they upgraded?
Well, does that leave you $600 for the equipment at the cemetery for the rest
So
of the
right
year?
now, I'm still on point then, at 5,000. I mean, I don't know what else they're gonna upgrade, Phil, that's what I'm saying. I didn't know the pads was gonna be bought, but I don't, I don't think that come under what we was doing. There's no need to wink at her with that.
Can we
one, right?
refocus on this?
Okay, yeah, please.
Thank you. Is there a motion to suspend the rules?
I'll make the motion.
Who's the second?
Hey, Corey, you made the motion?
Correct.
I'll second. I thought someone already did.
McMurray,
No.
Taylor,
Yes.
Clyburn,
I'm gonna go ask, because you got 42 people, if you go out with that big file pad, you're gonna have people pissed. And it's ridiculous to buy it. So, yeah, I'll vote yes to suspend the rules.
Buchin,
Yes.
Losi,
I'm gonna do yes.
Yeah, at least she heard you.
I said yes.
yeah. Is there a motion to adopt?
I'll make the motion.
Right.
Second. Got it?
Taylor,
Yes.
Clyburn,
Yes.
Buchin,
Yes.
Losi,
Yes.
McMurray.
No.
All right, then we have first reading of ordinance 13, 2025, an ordinance amending section 151.05B1, employee insurance contribution rate, and declaring an emergency. And I'll move to suspend the, or I'll move to receive. Goodness gracious, we are.
I'll second.
Off tonight.
Clyburn,
Yes.
Buchin,
Yes.
Losi,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Gary, do you have any information on this one?
Yeah, quite a bit. Since 2021, the village has been able to buy down health insurance premiums in order to maintain employer contributions without increases in what they contribute out of their pay. While this worked well for employees, it was having an adverse effect on the underwriting process. So as such, the village will no longer be able to buy down the insurance premiums like we used to. The buy down amounted to approximately $30,000 per year. In retrospect, there's probably a better way we could have approached that back then by possibly reducing the contribution or even increasing what we pay in the HSAs, but that's history and that's not how we did it. So the employees have benefited by reducing the percentage of their contributions and whatnot. So for our renewal this year, insurance premiums are projected to increase a modest 5%. However, employees won't have the benefit of the buy down to maintain their contributions at the current levels. For example, the single coverage an employee contributes for a single coverage, and that's the most of what we have. We covered 19 employees, 11 of them are single coverage. So for the single coverage, an employee contributes 15% of an artificially low monthly premium of $662.68. So that's $99.40 monthly or $49.70 from each paycheck. The estimated increase for single coverage without the buy down would be $758.46. And that's the current premium would have been $222.35 were it not for that annual buy down. So that would increase an employee's contribution by $113.76 monthly, or $56.88 per paycheck. So therefore, I'm recommending that the employee contributions for health insurance be reduced from 15% to 13% when our renewal takes effect at 1st of July. That will be for our July premium, which will be collected in June. If this recommendation is acceptable by council, legislation will have to be passed so that the new contribution percentage can be passed by May 18th. So I don't think I provided you with spreadsheets when you got the legislation. If you could give the spreadsheets to them. The spreadsheet for the legislation realistically illustrates the effect of passing that recommendation. It shows that each employee will actually contribute just a little less than what they currently contribute, while the village will pick up the additional cost that will amount to $27,501 annually. So that would be $2,500 less than what we typically pay, the $30,000, which was the buy down. So I just want you to please consider passing this measure for the benefit of the employees who rely on our insurance coverage to protect their health and that of their families.
And I move we suspend the rules.
Second.
Wooten,
Yes.
Losey,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Clyburn.
Yes. Move to adopt.
Second.
Losey,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Clyburn,
Yes.
Wooten.
All right. Then we have first reading of resolution number 12, 2025. A resolution accepting the bid of A1 Tree Care, authorizing the interim city manager to execute an agreement with A1 Care to complete the hazardous tree removal project and declaring an emergency.
Move to accept, or receive, sorry. I've said that before.
A second.
Peach different signature.
McMurray,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Clyburn,
Yes.
Wooten, Losey.
Yes.
Gary, do you have anything on this one?
No, I don't know anything
You don't
about
know
this
anything
one,
about
no.
this one?
It's expensive.
So it looks like we're,
Saved us $1,000.
$1,500 a
Yeah,
tree.
our new stump grinder paid off.
Tractor and the.
Well, this is to take them
That's
down.
right.
Yeah, this is the grant money they got. So this is a no match grant, so it's $300,000. It's free.
okay.
Oh, so this will be covered under that?
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay. That sounds good.
Thank you.
Well, then, let's go. Move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Street sweeper did not.
You said Mr. Wooten was second?
Yes, ma'am.
Taylor,
Yes.
Clyburn,
Yes.
Wooten,
Yes.
Losey,
Yes,
McMurray.
Yes.
move to adopt.
Second.
Clyburn,
Yes.
Wooten,
Yes.
Losey,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes.
Taylor.
Yes.
All right, then finally, we have first reading of resolution number 13, 2025. A resolution authorizing the interim city manager to execute an agreement with JWM Excavating LLC to demolish the maintenance building located at 237.5 Maribel Street and declaring an emergency. I'll move to receive.
Second.
Uchen,
Yes.
Losi,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Clyburn.
Yes. I'll move to suspend.
I'm just reading it.
I'm reading it too.
What I was doing.
Okay, then I'll stop.
Second.
So what building is this?
Is this that
Back
little,
garage.
little thing back there, that little,
Like in the corner right there?
Used to keep the phone trucks in it, wasn't it? In the whole gate right
it
there?
used to be a phone, yeah,
Yeah.
the phone company or whatever it
It's
is.
gonna cost $15,000 to demolish it.
To drive a backhoe through it.
I think it's one on the alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take that new backhoe we got, clip each corner, drop it, scoop it into the truck.
That's what your back is.
That's the new one.
We would be able to do that ourselves
yeah.
if we had that big one?
Yeah.
Are there any questions on this one?
I think Phil made a motion to suspend, I thought I seconded it.
Do we want to hold on and wait?
May have a point,
Maybe
may have a
purchase
point.
something that we can do ourselves and save ourselves $15,000.
I agree 100%.
Okay, call for the vote. We won't notice the rules.
Losi,
No.
McMurray,
No.
Taylor,
No.
Clyburn,
Yes.
Uchen,
No.
Okay, so that one will be read again next meeting. Are you done? Finally?
Done.
Public participation. Is there anyone that would like to speak?
My name is Becky Newsom.
You need to talk into the
I-
microphone. Well, it's being recorded, so they have to have it in the microphone, sorry.
Well, God did not give me a voice to sound good over a speaker. However, He gave me a voice to speak my mind. And I'm here to speak my mind. Now, y'all talk about this park and the quarry and the camping at the quarry. What about the people that live in Thrifton? You have a tent set up out there right now. We don't know if it's homeless, we don't know if it's druggies, we don't know if they're selling Avon. The police have been called. They are trespassing, but it is on city property. We do not want campers out there. We do not want primitive campsites. And we do not want homeless tent cities out there. Now, if it was in your backyard or sitting in your alley, would you want it? All you're asking for is to bring drugs in, and somebody says, oh no, it's gonna be really good for the city, there'll be fishing, there'll be camping, it's gonna bring in people. That's not a historical site that y'all claim and fight over this building down here, it's historical. Well, I grew up in that stone quarry. I was in that stone quarry when I was 11 years old. I got kicked out of school because of that stone quarry. We do not want primitive camping. We do not want the trails. And if anybody has been down there recently to see what has been done already, it's pathetic. You can't even imagine. And you're talking about grinding tree stumps. Yo, what about the people? You know, here you are out here grinding tree stumps and arguing over a building and trying to get people to come in. That park is not gonna bring nobody to Greenfield, except the ones that wanna jump off of the quarry wall. And they've been doing it for 50-some years. I mean, from Dayton, Cincinnati, every place that you can imagine, people come to jump off of the east wall of the stone quarry. And I admit, yes, I have jumped off of it many times. I've been pushed off of it. But we do not want it. Now, if you want primitive campsites, put them in your backyard, because we don't want them in our front yard. The people that live out there, there is maybe 3 young couples, and that's about it. Everybody is old, including me, and I own property out there. And so does Mary Ellen. But Mary Ellen does not live out there. She does not see the riprap that is walking around the stone quarry. She does not see the riprap that is going in and out of her building that is unsupervised. Now, we don't want it. And it's not going to be beautiful, Phil. It's not going to be beautiful. But this is the first council meeting I've been to in 40 years. And I tell you what, I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of you people. I'm ashamed. I think Governor McKyle, when he said, for shame, for shame, for shame, it would fit all 5 of them. I'm sorry. I mean, I know most of you. I don't know. Just met this one. But I am. Maybe not so much ashamed. I'm disappointed. I am disappointed. You know, you're spending money grinding tree stumps. Talking about, well, let's keep an old piece of equipment well, we're gonna buy a new one. Well, let's keep this one for parts. Why are you buying a new one if it's gonna need parts?
Mrs. Newsom, thank you, but your time is up. We appreciate your feedback. Mr. Flagger, anything? Anyone else? Okay. Do we have any old business?
Are we gonna go back to the demo,
To the what?
the demolition?
I thought we was waiting on that engineer, structural engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no. Correct? And we was waiting on structural?
We are still waiting on some quotes, yes.
Let's just wait till we get it all in. Let's just argue about that. Let's just wait till we get it all in.
Which building are you talking about?
He's talking about this
Washington
building.
Street.
Yeah, Washington Street. Just wait till we get the bids in.
I thought you were in such a hurry just a minute ago. Had to get it done.
Okay, is there any new business?
Wait a minute, I have some old ones. Well, I guess it's, I don't know, new, old, I don't know. It's a issue. When we did the sewer lines and water lines and things on 4th Street, there was a lot of just people's yards, people's places all through there got dug up. We had a lot of issues with that. One issue that still has not been addressed is the corner of 4th and McLean at the intersection. Where you try to cross the street is still completely covered with dirt and rock. There's it would not be handicap accessible in any way, shape, or form. It's not huge, it's not like a pile, but it is covering it. I know this because I walk from my house up to the school all the time, and I'm always walking through dirt, because it's never been cleaned up. So I think, I don't know, at this point, if the city just wants to do it, I guess that's fine, but actually, whoever was the contractor, they were supposed to make everything as it was, and it didn't happen. So I'm just bringing that to everyone's attention, that it probably needs to be taken care of, and I will maybe get with Gary or somebody and see if we can get
4th
that.
and McLean?
4th and McLean, yeah.
And she is correct. I thought that homeless place, she was talking about homeless because it sits up, we were up by it, and I thought that was abandoned, but if there's people living out there, it's good size, and the police should take care of that. It's definitely,
No, that was gonna ask her, but I forgot now,
She
because
said
she's in
she
the county, so is that Ross County? Would they have to come out?
no,
I
it's
think
on our
so.
property.
But still, see, that's what we're going, I don't know, we'll have to ask.
I think
but
that's a gray
Yeah, that's something
area.
that's gonna need to be
Because
addressed
at
once
my-
the whole Felson Park and
No,
the quarry
if it's-
comes in.
if
Who's
we-
gonna have
If we
jurisdiction?
own it and it's in Ross County, we're still responsible. Okay, so the police should have gone out there and done something about that. But it's sitting there, and it's large, it's bigger, I just thought nobody was there. It's pretty good size. Take you out there and see if you want to see it. But it's there, she's right about that. That needs to be taken care of.
Yes, absolutely.
I
So
agree.
we need to do it, we'll get with Chief and have him make a call, or to Ross County, or if they can do it, we need
Somebody should do it.
to act on that
She's-
immediately.
She's definitely correct about that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep, I agree. Any other old business? Okay, new business? Okay, I would like to move to go into,
Catherine has.
hi,
I emailed this to you at the workers' behest. I only managed to print out one proper copy. I asked that it get passed around if possibly. It's something about National Fitness Campaign Grant. And she did recommend either, if you guys, if there's not enough time to talk about it in the council meeting, that she suggested maybe having a Parks and Properties meeting about it. I wasn't given much information besides, here's a packet, could you show it to the council?
I was really confused by that too when I
Yeah.
saw that. Is this like a group that comes in and helps you build what your idea is?
What I was reading, it's a whole, it'd be like who we contracted. They do grants, funding, they do the whole thing, start to finish. I don't know if they're just trying to mosey in on the Felson Park project or what.
That's what I'm kind of trying to wrap my head around too. Because I was kind of confused by that.
I'm not 100% sure, I just glanced through it.
How about if we ask Sherry to come and explain all this to us at our next meeting maybe or something? Because there's no sense us just bouncing around when we don't even know what really, anything about it. Because it looks cool, but
Right. A lot of activities to it.
I guess this goes back to old business. I just wanted to double check because I'm gonna post about it. The finance committee all wanted to meet on the 5th of May at 4 PM, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
okay. All right, so I would move to go into executive session to discuss the employment of a public employee pursuant to 121.22 G1.
You need someone to second that?
I do.
Oh, a second, I'm sorry. We just.
McMurray,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Clyburn,
Yes.
Uchen,
Yes.
Losey.
Yes.
Okey dokey.
And I will ask that Mrs. Brenner stay with us.
Any action afterwards?
No.